add on the others. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, I think let me handle the ones that we have, because and then we can have a second round in case there is more need. Now, the CC from Siaya raised the issue on bank accounts. With the latest changes, what is my opinion? Indeed, we accept their changes. After the first reporting of those bank accounts, a lot has happened. Let me update you. First of all, the Senate sent their own team to 10 counties to confirm what we were talking about. They not only confirmed, they actually found the situation worse than what we had reported. Yeah? They came back with more bank accounts. Now, and I'll soon tell you what was wrong with the bank accounts. Whilst changes have come in, say the FIF, what is the law on opening bank accounts? Do we know the law? Do we know the law for opening bank accounts? Who can volunteer for us the law on opening bank accounts? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So the PFM actually prescribes, and it says the regulations, there are also the PFM regulations. There is a regulation 82, which says that every time you open a bank account, whether for revenue collection, as a collection account, or even a current account, what should happen? Where should a copy be sent? Have we read the law? Now I'm getting very worried. I'm getting very, very worried. What should we do when we want to open a bank account? For instance, we want to open an FIF bank account. What must we do? And until and unless we can answer that question, I think we are going to be in for a very rough ride. Because we need to know that when you open a bank account for any public purpose, a copy should be sent to the Office of the Controller of Budget. So, whatever we are saying here, are those copies now with me? Who has sent any copies to me? Meaning that all those accounts are actually illegal, ab initio, as the lawyers say. Every bank account, there should be a copy of the approval to open the bank account, and once the bank account is opened, you should also notify us that this is after the approval, this is the account that we opened, this is the account number. Why should that be the case? So that if we wanted, for instance, to know that all the collections have been aggregated together, then we can check each of those accounts and confirm that none of them is going astray. What has been happening is that FIF, or whatever you call it, or revenue collection, bank accounts were being opened anywhere and everywhere at whim. And then they could be used for some purpose and then closed. Now, that is what the Auditor General found. I was telling you about what happened after I raised the matter. Senate did their own exercise. The Auditor General did their own exercise. They followed up some of those accounts. They found they had been opened, monies deposited there, the monies removed and sent to yet a second account, and those accounts were later closed. Number two, the signatories were not known. For some of those accounts that were checked, they found out that there were signatories who probably had joined the county in 2013, left after 5 years, they still remained in the bank, as the signatories. What do you think would happen to such an account? And it was a revenue collection account. That money is lost because the signatory is not even within the county. And all they do is to wait for that money to be banked there, and they draw it out. Really, when we talk about internal controls, then we have to be serious about, we should not politicize the issue of bank accounts. So we said, let us tidy up our act. No one is saying you should not open a bank account, but can you do it legally? Can you follow the process that is prescribed? Make an application. We have a need for this bank account. This is what it will be doing. This will be the signatories, and all those details are centrally at the county treasury. Then the same information is relayed to the control of budget. And I will not be reporting on bank accounts. We don't just report for the sake of it. We report because there has been non-compliance. And that non-compliance is a sign that things are either going wrong or will soon go wrong. So we are trying to mitigate that risk. I hope I have made my opinion clear. Yes. The budget ceilings, is 35% of total revenue still realistic? What is my opinion? My opinion is that we should make decisions that are evidence-based. So the first people who crafted this, they talked of 35%. What kind of data have you given them to make them change this percentage to 40 or to even 50%? So we can't just complain. Again, I am saying, let us do a proper job analysis. And there are institutions, there is the HRM, whatever, they can do for you a job analysis. Those who are saying you still need many staff, perfect. Get the IHRM, let them do for you a job analysis. Prove with figures that those are the number of people that you require. Indeed, from my office, we had asked that you have an HR plan. The HR plan could only be facilitated if you did an HR audit, number one, to know who is on the ground. Then number two, you do job analysis. And job analysis is now matching the people you have to the jobs that are available. But you cannot just have any number of people and you say, you know, I still have a shortage. On what basis are you saying you have a shortage? So you must have a basis. You must have data. Bottom line, that's what we are saying. My brother there, the architect from Taita Taveta, I'm invoking you because my son is an architect as well. And I know that you have certain rules of operation. There is a way things are done. So you cannot have certain angles. For instance, when you are drawing, if you are drawing a house, there is a way that certain angles must go, you know, for that house to be upright or to be whatever. Now, for your discipline, I know that those strict rules are followed. But when it comes to the financial area, the human resource area, there are also practices that need to be followed, but they are not being followed. So they think that they can make rounded walls and still have a building which is standing straight. That is where we are going wrong. So in terms of the 35%, I am challenging all of us. Please carry out data-based research and submit it. We are willing to accept that we require 40%, but you must give us the data. You must follow a disciplined practice to prove your point, and then we'll agree with it. So, now let me come to the the architect and look at the quarterly reports where you say the context has been lost. But I wanted to challenge you, Bwana Architect. When did you last read the COB's report? Which is the last one you read? Huh? Did you read the quarter 3? Yes, I did. You read? Yes. So what did you find out of context? Just cite one thing.
Like in Taita Taveta County, we were blessed to have spent or to have achieved 9% development absorption. Mm-hmm. So my point is, at that time, procurement had already been done and the projects were actually ongoing. So it gives an impression that no work is happening, no development work is taking place in counties. When it is reported that there's 9% absorption, that very late in the financial year. Yeah. Yet projects are ongoing, and we understand that you are basing your reports based on payments that have already been made. Yes. For development budget. Yes. Or under the development vote. So what I'm saying is that when you just say it's just 9% absorption of development budget, yeah. It exposes us. If you don't give the context that, okay, fine, there could be projects that are still ongoing, and by the time the year ends, they would have been paid. So that's my main concern.
So anyway, if we had more time, you would have shown me the sentence which puts you in a bad state, because I think this is just some propaganda that has been started that the counties are not being reported properly. But be that as it may, there is cash basis of reporting and there is accrual. So luckily, but I don't think there are many accountants in the house except CPA Barasa here. I know who was in finance. We are now moving into accrual accounting. Once we go into accrual accounting, we agreed that commitments are going to be recognized. Yeah? And accrual will be recognizing that you have gone so far. In fact, at the end of the financial year, we will be taking all the commitments that have been made up to that point. So it will no longer be the cash basis. While we were on cash basis, unfortunately, that was the reporting structure. So there is no way we would have gone again. We go past the cash and go to what you have done and what you have not finished. I hope you get that. So again, this is one of those reforms that is coming, and it is going to help the reporting structure. Now, from Baringo, we heard that that there is somebody who's telling others to carry an envelope. Huh? And I'm just wondering, so who tells them to carry the envelope? What is in the envelope? And where does it go? Can you please tell us, where does this envelope go? And who recommends that it should be carried? And for what is it being carried?
Fast track.
You, please, now if you have been conned in the past, I am very sorry for you, because nobody needs an envelope to do what they have been employed to do. Least of all myself. I don't need anything to do what I've been employed to do. And I think I also told you that I'm the only controller of budget. Hatuko wawili. I have a deputy, but he's just a deputy. And none of us requires any inducement to do what we have been employed to do. So please, if you are doing that or anybody is doing that, waambie not to stop what they are doing. And wherever they are taking those envelopes, which is unknown to me, the day they will be known, of course they will face their day. We will not help them. It is an embarrassing subject to talk about, but again, if you have any evidence, please bring it to us. And you see, even the president pronounced himself on matters corruption. Please help us to help you. We don't want scarce county money being given to people who are employed to do what you are asking them to do. But on the other hand, if you have brought your requisition late, please wait for your turn. The ones who are ahead of you will go ahead of you, and you will have your day. So do not go and try to influence my officers so that they can jump the queue for you. I am very sure that is where the corruption comes in. Some people do not want to wait for their turn. Now, in terms of who sets the ceiling at, who sets the ceiling? You asked something about setting the ceiling. I didn't get it very well. At the county assembly. But I'm also now encouraging you to use the data which is in the CoB reports to beef up your case so that you can argue your case out. Please have what we call evidence-based arguments. Do not just argue for the sake of politics. Monica from Elgeyo Marakwet, you are saying that officers in finance travel to seek approvals. This is just the old story. People just want DSA, but their time is up. Because in the course of this year, 25-26, we intend to automate the county exchequers. And what is going to happen, because already we have automated the national government, is that any supporting documents will be sent online. We do not need any physical couriers to bring documents to the CoB. So the documents will be sent online. We will ask whatever questions online, and you will answer online. And so the issues of traveling are like a story of the past. What I may not say is when exactly it will start, but already there's a World Bank program, the KDSP2, I think, that has a component on the automation of county exchequers. So this one is coming. Now, so in this era of technology, and this is what we are saying, we have the eGPS, the electronic procurement, and they are going to move along with the automated exchequers. So we'll no longer have those things being done physically going forward. Now, Madam here, you had beefed up the question on many bank accounts, and I think I've already covered that. Let us just follow the law. Nobody says you should not open a bank account. But if you open it, ensure you have followed the law. On absorption of funds, the matter of late legislation has been discussed at very high levels. And I know that the Council of Governors is already doing something about this. They said they will combine certain laws in a way so that once they are passed, these things happen. So this is a bit beyond me. But you see, when I report on absorption, I still must say you have not absorbed. I cannot tell a lie. Yes, I'll have said that the law was not passed on time. That one is there. But you have not absorbed. Those two sentences are both correct, 100% correct. Yeah? So thank you very much. In case there is any other.
Thank you, Madam. Please allow us to have a second round.
No. I think in the interest of time, we'll just have maybe one or two questions. DG and maybe one more person. But I'll just make comments because I'm already here. First, Madam, there is the issue of development funds. And many of us have thought that the definition of development is anti the health department because it is leading to so many hospitals being built and not operationalized because development is seen as brick and mortar. And we have always wondered, is there a chance that we might have to sit back and rethink what constitutes the word development? Should we have development as building a hospital and operationalizing it? That means you build, you put the equipment inside there, and you put human resource to start it for the first 1 or 2 years. Then we say that is development. Because if we continue with the current definition, then health centers will always be built and built and built and never operationalized because that is what people conceptualize as development. The second thing is the world is moving towards other ways of getting the development. For example, we had recently, there's something called lease to own. That you have built up this thing, but you don't have the money. So somebody puts it up, then you pay it over a period of time. And that might be taken as a recurrent expense, whereas it actually ends up in a development item in your county. And finally, there is the issue of the digital infrastructure. That even digital infrastructure is being thought of as development right now. That for you to put up an infrastructure, computers, a data warehouse or a data repository and all that is actually infrastructure. So is there a time that we can rediscuss what constitutes development? The second thing was about your mark of performance. And I would think that using the target revenue as a marker is not right because some people under target. For example, if I collected 100,000 and I say my target is 110,000, if I collect 200,000, then I am 1,000%. But somebody who collected 100,000 and put a target of 300,000 and did 150,000 might be seen as inferior. So I would suggest that instead of using targets as your baseline, we would use previous financial year performance so that we see who has increased more by a percentage instead of using a target as your baseline. And my final comment is the HR in health versus what is there in the finance, that the human resource has always gobbled up a big percentage. We all know this, and that is what my colleague was talking about, that perhaps we need to look at human resource in health as a different component and not just grabbled up the 35% as a baseline. So I want to give my other colleagues maybe to give comments.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just in line with your last comment, Dr. Madam COB, the allocations you had stated there, are they inclusive of recurrent expenditure or are they just development? The ones you said, Lamu has 9%, and Baringo, I think.
Let me help you. What he's saying is, what you gave as percentage, there are some counties which human resource is not put in the department.
Yes.
The human resource is put in a different department. For example, in Lamu, the human resource component is put in the finance department.
Finance. And if we add those, then
yes,
we go to 33%.
Yes.
So I've asked our CEC for finance to come and clarify with you before you end the Gazette. Because my governor has been branded 5%, Sayata it was 9%. If it is purely development, then fine, the figures are correct. But if it is inclusive of the recurrent expenditure, then there needs to be a correction from that. Thank you.
And I think that's the same for Kisumu. Ours is in the governance department.
Thank you. I know the mic will move behind. Just a quick question again. Sorry for asking too much, Madam Margaret. I just wanted to ask, what is your view on the current e-procurement? Right now, like we are stuck, and the governors actually had a crisis meeting even on Tuesday. It has been piloted in 3 counties, but it is not working. And I'm actually putting that comment to you because I know the issue of absorption again will come. Right now, counties are stuck, nothing is happening, procurements are not uploaded, and then until they access that system and upload everything of theirs, they cannot do anything. So what is your view? Do you foresee a crisis in the entire system which will also fall back into your department? Thank you.
So give that table 1 and then this table 1 and then I think that table already asked a question.
Okay, thank you very much. Now it's difficult to introduce yourself as a doctor. That's the difficulty I'm facing. Actually, I want to confirm that when I went to health, because I've been in treasury for over 10 years, when I went to health, Madam, I discovered there's a problem. There's a complete disjoint when it comes to understanding of budgeting in health and the normal budgeting in which we do. There's a total departure. And that's why most of the issues in health are not being understood. And I want to give it so that it's very clear. Like, for example, when we talk about matters accounts, these accounts were there before even devolution. These accounts were opened before devolution. So there's no way they are coming to say we didn't take it to the control of budget because they were not there. So they needed a transition mechanism on how to regularize them for operation. The moment they are left like that, they will remain an issue unless a decision is made to regularize them to the state in which it is now. That's one case that is very clear. The other issue that is coming out, which I have just observed, many partners are engaging health, but it's not recognized anywhere. And the law is very clear. If you engage, you are either engaging in cash or in kind. And it must be budgeted. If you are engaging in kind, it must be budgeted, because that's law. But most of them will just say, you know, I want to meet health. You engage, they start running a program. They run a program, they are engaging staff along the way, but that is not recognized anywhere. It's an illegal process, but now no one has realized that. And there are many of those donors. So the question is, how do they come in and how do we engage them in a legal manner? That's a very serious issue. And which, if not handled, then we'll always be saying health is not handled, but there's a gap. The other issue that I really want to bring out is the issue of how these entities are being handled in terms of procurement. It's a very unique scenario because what if the year closes? The question is, does health stop spending? That's where it has never been understood. When the year closes, I've never seen a hospital that say, stop admitting patients until the budget is approved, then we start spending. I've never seen. So is that a time bomb in health? And no one has ever talked about it. So the question is, even if you are saying about EGB, is anyone who is here is transacting? Yes. But the circular has said no transaction. Until you are, does it mean someone is not understanding how health operates?
Yeah. Patients must eat. There's nothing
you get the point? Now, a very serious issue now comes in. And that's what has been happening. A&A, Madam, is for all the facilities you are looking at. But there is also a component of equitable share. That now where the requisition is normal. But you see, this equitable share has a way of supplementing the services that are going on in the facilities down there. And this was a proposal. Because that I've observed it. Why don't we agree, instead of delay, a special purpose account for equitable share is opened so that once the budget is approved, this amount equitable share transferred to special purpose account so that now health can access it and link it to the operation of facilities normally. That becomes very easy in terms of linkage. And you'll have closed that gap. Lastly, when we are doing budgeting, no one has ever evaluated the ratio of staff and life. I've observed a situation whereby a nurse is attending to 10 mothers at the same time. I've observed it. So the question is there anybody not seeing it? So is there a way that, because this is from national government, if you know the ratio is this, why don't it be, now you have said you enforce such a kind of issues. Why is it not just enforced that everywhere you go, that ratio is maintained across? So that we avoid the issue of budgeting is a conditional budgeting when it comes to health. And we stop the issue of shortage of staff, yet everybody is actually has a right to life. And we stop it. That's what I wanted just to comment. Then the last one, maybe 35%. 35%, the one a ceiling for personnel emolument. It will never be realistic. Even if we go on and on, it will never come to be realized. Reason, this percentage came in when we now, after devolution, it was calculated, it was above 35%. After devolution, when they were transferring local authority staff to the counties, it was already surpassed. So the question is, who calculated 35%? Then for you to reduce, the national government must give more money to counties so that percentage drops up. I think there is an issue that needs to be discussed around there.
Okay, thank you. So please be very brief. We have maybe 1 more minute so that we move into the next presentation. Be very brief, please.
Okay, this is Angeline. We are sharing this mic with Lucy from Isiolo.
Okay, thank you. Wanted to be fast and combine the questions. Thank you, Madam COB. I'm Lucy from Isiolo. Thank you for the presentation. We've learned a lot from it, and we see that we have to be strict on the law. Okay, I had a concern about these stored projects, for example, the ones that are co-shared, financed by national government and county government. Sometimes you bear the road of uncompleted projects, and most of the counties have cleared their part. For example, the headquarters, the assembly, and the market. What can be done so that that burden can be given to national government, or the money to be dispersed to county to complete those projects? Number 2 was about the equalization fund project. Most of them have not been completed, and yet they want to hand over to the counties. That is also a burden that we are carrying, the pending bills and the reporting of non-completed projects. Those were the concerns from Isiolo.
From Nandi County, my observation was that in health, nationally, 48% of the budget goes to counties, while the 52% goes to counties, while 48% remains with national government. Yet the greatest burden, health is devolved. So that ratio in itself is skewed before we go down now to the counties, where it would be better to ring fence the proportion of county budgets that goes to health, to avoid the disparities that we are seeing, that one county has a higher allocation and another one has a lower proportion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think she will answer those.
Okay. Asante sana. I think there have been some more observations. Some are those we had looked at before. If I may just comment on your comments, Chair, in terms of what is development. Now, you gave me the impression that you are mixing capital expenditure vis-a-vis development expenditure. Capital is that the brick and mortar you were talking about. But development is a much wider term. The problem is that the way it is interpreted during budgeting is where the problem is. Otherwise, development, by definition, is that kind of expenditure which creates value that goes for more than one financial year. That is the definition. So can you prove that this particular spending will give value for more than one financial year? Then what are the indicators? So you must give the indicators that will go beyond one financial year. Yeah? If you are able to give those indicators, then you have proven that it is development in nature and it will be classified as such. But before you do, then it won't be. So all these examples you gave, the lease to own, the digital infrastructure, it is up to you to prove that there are benefits that will flow to the county for more than one financial year. Now, in terms of performance, what measure is acceptable? I just gave an example of a measure of improvement, but it doesn't mean that it is the only one. Yeah? There are many other measures, and indeed, even in the report itself, we have analyzed many other ways of looking at it. But I wanted also to agree with Dr. from Lamu that we need to look at those percentages to see, do they have the PE element, or maybe they have separated, maybe it is just development before we arrive at the conclusion. I agree with you entirely. Now, comments on the e-procurement. E-procurement, we all got a circular saying you can't procure anything until blah, 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 blah. So when we got this, the first thing I did was to send my procurement guy for a training. What did I have to do to send him to a training? I had to procure an air ticket. Then he went to a conference room. And Kisim was asked how they procured the conference room where the more than 500 people were meeting. They were asked whether they did it on eGPS. And they could not answer the question because even them, they had procured kienyeji. But jokes aside, when change comes in, and I can tell you, I'm an expert in change management. That is not how you implement change. You must implement change in a certain way. There are certain things you must do to implement change. But having said that, we need eGPS. Regardless of the fact that the change has not been managed properly. And therefore, it is going to create a lot of problems. No one is safe. Not me, not the Auditor General, not Parliament. Everybody is involved. Now, so what must we do? We must make the best of a bad situation. So if you are cooking a dish and you find that you have 5 ingredients out of 7, do you stop cooking the dish so people are hungry because you will say, I don't have this particular spice? No. You will still try to make a bowl of soup so that people don't sleep hungry. So can we try to make the best of a bad situation? And the first thing, the starting point to eGPS is to have a budget. Once we have the budget and it is on IFMIS, please register with the system. Register the people who are going to operate it. That is already, you are like 40% of the way. Then before you know it, if you have, I'm told the procurement plan is online. Please go ahead and do it. Do not keep protesting, saying it is going away. It will not go away. It is with us. People complained about IFMIS. They have been complaining to date, as I speak to you. People still complain about IFMIS. Did we stop using it? Please get used to EGPS. We are all in it. The sooner we start using it, the better. That is my position. Budgeting in health, CPA Barasa, you have spoken passionately about the things that are happening, and I want you to lead from the front. Because you have been in both places. Please help in how more credible budgets can be made. And I support you when you talk about health processes cannot stop to wait for budgeting. So there must be an emergency kitty arrangement which ensures that processes can go on while the budgeting is going on. That is just pure common sense. And in this room, you have all it takes to make that proposal and make it a reality. Because you have put it very clear. Mothers cannot wait. I am 9 months pregnant. Will I wait for the budget to be ready to have my baby? I must have my baby. Yeah? So, let's be just sensible about how we handle the finances. And I'm here to support you. On a proposal like that, I will support you fully where it matters. But you must make your proposals clear and escalate them. On Angeline and Lucy from Isiolo, you talked about the stalled projects. This is one of the things that we have raised in our M&E reports many times. It has been picked by the Senate, and I think something is being done about it. I may not tell you the latest. I would have to find out what the Senate agreed on the same stalled projects, because there were about 5. There was Lamu, there was Isiolo, there was Tharaka-Nithi, and I think 2 others who all faced the same fate, and they had already used their part of the money. So we need to do more to find out the latest. On Equalization Fund, just yesterday, I was with the Budget and Appropriation Committee of Parliament, and they told me that there should be a new discussion in terms of the Equalization Act. So there has been many wrong things that have happened, and something is going on right now as we speak. So again, I cannot conclusively tell you about that. Now, health is devolved, and I agree with you fully. Is there a way we can ring fence the funds to health? My position is that resources must follow functions. So if a function is devolved, my position is that the resources should follow that function where it is being undertaken. Indeed, you saw how I fought for the bursaries not to be done with county money. I'm not saying counties should not do the bursary. I'm saying the resources for the bursaries should come from national government, because it is a national government function. That is my position. Health, devolved. Education functions delineated in line with the Schedule 4 of the Constitution. So please, as long as we respect the law, we are safe. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, FCPA. That was a very nice session. Can I ask the caucus leadership to come for a group photo with her? And then after that, we all go down for a photo. Please hurry up, tuko na time kidogo. Waziri Kiranyaga.
A very good applause, and I really like the issue of bursary. Actually, you see, that's why I told you in the morning, there are things that you don't understand. Yeah. So we give her better applause, the village girl. You can give her a very special